Hello, I'm Steve Gayle for the Global Innovations team at the Silver Oak High School debut. Silver Oak is the first duly accredited public charter Montessori high school in California, accredited by both the Western Association of Schools and Colleges and the American Montessori Society. Silver Oak approaches education as a STEAM school, unlike traditional STEM schools, where arts are an integral part of the creative process. Today's episode comes from Stonebray Country Club in the Hayward Highlands. We will be talking to educators from the school and sister schools, the community, parents, and civic leaders. I am your host today because I was both the founding chairman of the school, a parent of 2 of the students, and am still involved with the school 7 years later after we started. Montessori is the focus as we look at a methodology and education philosophy that is over 100 years old, but extremely adaptable to current events. Innovators like Jeff Bezos have demonstrated that Montessori can be adapted to many things to provide a new way of approaching situations.
Kicking off our capital campaign this evening for building a brand new Silver Oak. Silver Oak High School is a public charter high school in the Hayward Unified School District. We offer a Montessori education to secondary school students, so it's high school Montessori education. Silver Oak provides a college prep education to the students in Hayward. My involvement with Silver Oak really began with my son. So I worked with a foster child from the time he was 12 until the time he was 16. John struggled greatly in the school environments that he was in and had a 1.48 GPA. When John turned 16 and it was clear to me that his life was going in a direction that would have been problematic, my husband and I decided to adopt John as our son. And John came and moved into our home at 16 years old. And because his grades were so poor, he had made the decision when we found Silver Oak High School to be a sophomore again. So John came to Silver Oak, and in this Montessori environment, and granted, wrapped around now a family who loved him, John went from having a 1.48 GPA to having a 3.94 GPA. So John's life was completely transformed by this school. So when I actually go and I talk to people about Silver Oak, I call it the transformational experience that is Silver Oak. Silver Oak High School took John and gave him opportunities that other schools just never gave him because the learning modality emphasizes group work and time for individual work. So students in a typical class have 15 minutes of direct instruction, and then the rest of the class is their individual work and group work. We don't believe in sending students home to do their homework. A student who's lost in class, who goes home to do their homework, their parents aren't going to be able to help them. So the program is actually designed to support the student in the classroom with their peers. It actually teaches students to learn in the same environment that students will actually work in one day. So John has spent the last 3 years there. He's graduating this June. We're very proud of him, very excited for him, because his future now is limitless. Every single student, there are numbers I emphasize about Silver Oak that I'll share with you here. Those numbers are, the first one is 80. So 80% of our student body come from communities of color, mirroring what Hayward is. Hayward is a very diverse city, and 80% of our students mirror that demographic. The next number that I have is 62. 62% of our students are on the free and reduced lunch program. We admit by lottery at Silver Oak, so we don't get to pick and choose the students who come to us, and our families are struggling in every much the same way as many other families are struggling. The next number is 25. 25% of our students are on special education programs. They either have an IEP or a 504. Those students succeed at the same rates as our students who are not in special education because of the attention we give them. And the next 2 numbers are 100 and 100. And those are the numbers I'm most proud of. 100% of our students, in the 6 years we have operated, 100% of our students graduate, and 100% of our students apply to and are accepted to college. That is a story that I don't know how many other high schools have that story, but the transformation that happens to the students that come to Silver Oak is beyond measure.
Montessori education is a unique form of education that recognizes the dignity of each and every child and also recognizes the potential of the human species. So when we talk about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, we think about STEAM as a mathematical and scientific approach to learning. And this is true. Maria Montessori was definitely a scientist. She was a physician and she was a way shower in her own time. But she was also a humanist who studied Rousseau and the greats of the ancient Greeks and Romans. She was an anthropologist who believed in the potential of humanity. So Montessori was the first real STEAM educator who combined science and arts together to bring about what she believed was the future of the human potential.
What is a Montessori high school? People associate Montessori with early childhood. Maria Montessori, well over 100 years ago, envisioned a way in which to approach education that would allow children to become fully who they are, that would allow them to be in a student-centered classroom, that would allow them to develop at their own pace, that would allow them to discover the joy of learning and the peace of community. And yes, she envisioned that for early childhood, the 3 to 6 year old. And then started looking at, well, all the planes of development. So she looked at birth through 3 years, and then 3 to 6, and then 6 to 9, and 9 to 12, and she developed curriculum for all of those ages. And then before she died, she wrote quite a lot about how do you approach the child between the ages of 12 and 18, what she called the third plane of development. And what she envisioned was that as the child moved into adolescence, he actually needed to be out in the world. He needed to be probably even in a boarding school away from home. But she didn't go that far. She felt that he had to be Erdkinder, a child of the earth, and that he needed to be out using his skills practically and to be hands-on and to be running a farm, running a business. And then at the age of 15, he then needed to, and would be able to, settle down and work with the intellectual pursuits about which he was passionate, and prepare himself for university. So a Montessori middle school, a Montessori secondary program, includes a middle school for the 12 through 15-year-old, and then the high school includes a pre-career, pre-university program for the 15 through 18-year-old. In the United States, most states have middle school end with 8th grade and start high school with 9th. And because of that, Silver Oak High School starts with 9th grade and goes all the way through 12th in a college prep, career prep environment that honors the intellectual passions of the students, that honors community first and foremost and a peaceful education, that honors student-centered project-based work, that honors Erdkinder, students who are not necessarily of the land, but are pursuing senior internships, that are pursuing intercession work, that are pursuing field experiences. Probably the most compelling part of this particular school, though, is that unlike many Montessori schools in the United States, this school is tuition-free. It's public, it's a charter school, and it is admission by lottery, which means that it is open to all students, and it matters not whether they've gone to a Montessori school before. So what we have is a free, public Montessori high school in the middle of the Bay Area. We actually also happen to have the very first free public Montessori high school in the country to be fully accredited by the American Montessori Society and also the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. So what we're doing is we're offering the best of Montessori secondary education, and we're offering it tuition free, and we're offering it with no admission qualifications. So students and families who think this is what they might want for their students would be able to matriculate here without any kind of requirements.
I began as a world history, world cultures teacher at Silver Oak, and my role evolved to being a member of the administrative team very organically. And something that I really appreciate about Silver Oak is all of the teachers and staff really have a opportunity to grow and to progress at the school itself. Our administrative team is very open to assigning or also accepting suggestions from teachers about certain roles or projects that they want to take on. And so it's a really collaborative process. And as an educator, it has always been very empowering to be able to be a part of creating something, being a part of a team, really being a part of a team.
We are a community composed of about 80% Latino students. Primarily first generation. We're college prep. But what makes us so special amongst all those characteristics is the fact that we're Montessori. But what makes us so special is also the fact that we serve all students. Students who are first generation who want to go to college. We have a curriculum that's composed to support students through the process, get them ahead. The collaborative environment that we offer for students is very conducive for learning. We have a high percentage of special ed students. We do offer the right accommodations and modifications for our students.
In Montessori, they emphasize self-direction, internal motivation, as well as community focus aspects, so that kids are not just thinking about themselves, as normal teenagers are typically very selfish. They very pleased to report that my son has still been very conscientious and thoughtful and a little rebellious, but not too much. And then one of the examples of how self-directed he is I don't have to ever ask either him or his brother if they've done their homework, because they have a love of knowledge that Montessori has imparted upon them. They're curious. They are very mindset of a lifelong learner, which I think is integral to this global economy. And I can't thank Silver Oak and its wonderful staff enough for the role they've played in helping to help me raise a child that'll be ready for the 21st century and have an impact on the world and community around him.
And this adventure started at least 6 years ago. And we wanted to offer and provide Montessori education for all the students of Hayward. And that's really exciting. We had many of those students that have graduated already, going to college. So we are ready for the next phase going forward, and we are looking for help. Raising funds for a new home.
We really individualize with every specific interest that they have and really build on their strengths and on their needs, and working with them to accommodate for that and support that. And within the arts and within the media, we have the students that work really specifically with different interest in their arts and really tap into their creativity and in their interest in their strengths in their arts, and really working into their creativity and having them come into their own by basis of their own interests and their strengths. So there's a lot of accommodating and specifically providing them with unique opportunities in the arts and in the science. And we have encompassing drama and digital media within our Montessori education. And they're able to express their creativity through digital media, through graphics, and their specifically interest in those areas. And
Silver Oak's full college prep education features STEAM program concepts. The school emphasizes the cultural heritage of its students and the local area to help create an understanding of unity for the community. Student art is displayed throughout the school as a catalyst for other students to use ideas from composition and themes to apply to their passion. Donated and loaned instruments teach the students to care for property and use their Montessori training on time and resource management. With limited resources, grit, and determination, the girls' soccer team went from starting out on dried-out urban fields in 2015 to title in 2018 and league champions in 2019. The sports programs truly set the charter school apart from traditional charter schools. Without facilities of their own except for small practice fields and gym, the school makes arrangements with local area recreational resources, including community and college areas. The social studies program focuses on understanding national politics and government process. It includes visiting with and communicating with local officials, and in recent years has included a trip and tours of Washington, D.C. to the Representative and the Supreme Court. This is in addition to visit to the state government. With the support of local businesses, Silver Oak built peaceful spaces for contemplation. Activities like gardening are essential in the urban environment. Silver Oak is justifiably proud of its 100% graduation and 100% college acceptance rates. The college application and financial hurdles are vital for families who are sending their first generation to college. It should be fun to be a kid one last time. Just like traditional schools, Silver Oak holds winter dance, junior and senior proms, and the senior trip to Disneyland. The computing environment, which is shared with digital media, is a core part of the STEAM environment. Each student is equipped with a Chromebook to help them in their academic studies. Expanding physical science lab facilities are key to the transition to a college curriculum. Even with limited science facilities, students have excelled in local science fairs.
For me, the most inspirational part of the Montessori approach has always been the concept that within each child is already the adult that he will become.
We're following the adolescent, and we are paying very close attention to the areas in the developmental plane. That's where we come up with our lessons.
I've just loved the experience being here. Here I have so much more freedom and actually grasp the knowledge and learn.
I think that the Montessori experience is a lot about making it individualized for the student.
So here you have mixed age classrooms in all subjects. The great thing about mixed age classrooms is you have a lot of peer tutoring. The students are not always going to the teacher for everything.
We have them in a multi-age classroom, and that's the real world. When you go out to get a job, you're not going to be working with people only your age.
And we come up with new ideas to learn every single day, and I feel like there's more of an acceptance to other types of learning styles rather than just one central thing.
What do teenagers need? They need to be engaged, they need to be interested in content. How is this content going to help me in the real world? How can I connect it to the world I see around me?
In Montessori, we're more active learners, we're not like passive. Our teachers don't just like assign instructions for assignments and projects, but they'll kind of give you broad rubric and you kind of have to be creative in that.
It gives the students choices, so they have more of a personal engagement in their own assignments and their own educational process.
Montessori education helps me connect the dots in a way that it interests me and it intrigues me. Everyone learns differently, everyone's brain is wired differently, so I feel that when you individualize the learning for someone and let them learn at their own pace, then they're more likely to succeed.
My favorite thing is once a project is going, the kids walk in my classroom and just start working.
The Socratic dialogues are a really big help to many people, especially me. It's like we are taking one piece of knowledge and then everybody's getting a chance to talk. It's like comparing and contrasting different opinions with each other.
We emphasize working on groups here. We do a lot of group assignments. I think that prepares them for college.
Our classes are college prep classes, and I feel like I am definitely prepared to go out into the world knowing that I graduated from Montessori school.
The 21st century skills that employers are requiring of students is knowing how to work in groups, being collaborative, being independent thinkers, taking initiative, initiative, and Montessori does that very well. We provide them skills through like a business entrepreneurship class we offer, which is they're looking at their finances. How would they manage a budget when they become an adult? What is it the career that I really want to go into? Can I make a living off of that career?
The student-led community meetings, so basically we have the whole school gathered in the gym. One student, they give a soapbox, and it's all just meant to be run by the student.
Everybody gets a chance to present what they're passionate about, and that shows the different interest in people and what they like to do and what they want to be. And by doing so, you can understand who these people are and approach them, become friends. You probably have something in common.
If you met me before I went to this Montessori school, you would have seen a completely different person. I would have been that one kid that would have just been shying away in the classroom. In the Montessori environment where like everybody is in a community, that's where I felt like I started to shine and feel comfortable with everybody.
Everyone might not be close friends with every single student, but everyone knows everyone.
The community here wraps its arms around the student and basically says, you really can do anything you put your mind to. A Montessori community is the student's family away from home.
Montessori is something that any child can benefit from, and I see it here day in, day out.
The environment here really fosters more of their strengths and really sees their unique sides, and being able to shape their own identity based on that.
Because of my Montessori education, I am confident, creative, and ready to learn.
My Montessori education is inspiring me to pursue my passions.
Because of my Montessori education, I am who I want to be.
Montessori's changed my life.
Because of my Montessori education, I am ready to take on the world.
The one thing I would want everyone to know about a Montessori high school is that it is the best, most joyful place to grow an adolescent into maturity.
I am so proud that Hayward hosts this wonderful school, the Silver Oak School. In fact, maybe the only chartered Montessori high school in the country.